Okay, this is Barry Brennan, Professor Brennan again, and we're here for the final short lecture on small group formation, part 3 for my small group communication class. Here we go. Let's go back to it. We're going to talk about norms, and it's going to get us, as soon as I can find the little doodads, it's going to get us, come on, dude. It's got to be around here somewhere. I'm not seeing it for some reason. Well, I'll just keep talking. Eventually, I'm going to see it. There it is. Oh, my gosh. That took forever, didn't it? Okay, let's go. Here we go. So sorry. Okay, come on, baby. There we go. Okay. Establishing group norms. Something actually you'll be working on, you'll be working on in the near future, let's just put it that way. And you're going to want to figure out what kind of norms that'll help guide how you're going to interact with each other. And also, it will help guide your expectations with each other. So what do we mean by norms? So norms, you're going to unstate them. Generally, they're unstated. Okay, things that let me step back again. What I mean is, norms are those things that we just know how we're supposed to behave because that's what we do. I'll give you a good example. We have a norm in our society that you were taught in kindergarten, and you just do it. And when someone doesn't do it, you notice. Now, in rules, sometimes rules could be like laws where people actually get in trouble. And you don't really get in trouble with norms, but you get like you get socially like shushed, or you get socially ostracized a little bit, or criticized. So the example I was going to give you is standing in line. How many you know? You know that when you go to something to buy something, you stand in a line. You don't rush the ticket counter at the movie theater. You know you're supposed to stand in line. You almost don't even need to be told to stand in line. Yeah, sometimes they have those things where you're supposed to stand on a line. But you just know. You've been taught this. It's a norm. When someone violates that norm, when someone like goes up to the ticket counter and they haven't been waiting in line, they just go up and just rush in there and just go in front of someone, that makes you mad, right? Because you expect everyone should stand in line and wait. It's fair. So these are the kind of norms that we do. Here's another norm. What do you do when you go in the classroom? What's the first thing that you do? You sit down at a desk. You don't stand at the desk. You know. You've been socially, that's what you're supposed to do. Usually the teacher stands in front of the classroom. I mean, these are we're starting to change the way we do things, but this is like the traditional way that we know. If the teacher sat in her chair the whole time, or his chair the whole time, and talked to you, it would be a totally different experience for you. Or if the teacher were to sit and you were to stand, right? It will almost be uncomfortable to stand that long, right? That would be weird. It would feel uncomfortable because it's the norm to sit down. So I think I've given you an idea. So usually they're unstated. We just know that's how we're supposed to behave. They develop over time. So it takes a while to socialize people and to get people to behave a certain way. And you could think of it, if you want to think of it as social control, you could. You could, if the more jaded members of my class, you might think of it that way. But it's also a way to organize society. For these behaviors have a purpose. It's a way to organize and to kind of keep things at peace, right? Less chaos. Think of your norms for the group. It's going to be the same thing. So expectations around the group behavior and respect. So how do you expect you to treat each other? So some of the norms could be how you expect your group members how long do they respond to a text message, right? You should all get your phone numbers and get your contact information and ways to contact to each other, or an email, or all of the above. And figure out with your norms, what is the expectation? Will you expect that every person will check their messages a number of times a day, or that they'll get back to you within that 24 hours or that same day, right? All those expectations you're going to want to define for your group members so you're all on the same page and know what to expect. And you can't get mad at anyone for not following the norms that you establish in the group if you haven't laid them out, right? There are people that come from cultures that are different than yours. And so they don't necessarily have the same norms as you. So I'm talking about norms that are like American westernized norms that we have here. But if you lived in a different culture, it would be different. Like, here's a norm. It's a cultural norm. United States, and when you greet someone, usually it's with a handshake, right? You shake their hand, not so much now because of COVID. Maybe you fist bump them, but you greet them and you make eye contact with them. Now, in certain other cultures, to make eye contact with anyone that's in authority is actually a show of disrespect. But in this culture, to make eye contact with someone in authority is to show respect toward them. So that's what I'm trying to point out. Knowing the norms, knowing that you need to state them, you're going to need to state them for your group so you're all on the same page. Don't expect that people should just know, because not everybody has the same upbringing as you do. All right. It also, of course, assists with group cohesion. Group cohesion means how you guys all fit together, how you get along, the synergy of your group, the flow of your group. If you know what to expect, then there'll be less conflict, right? Especially around this kind of stuff, around behavior stuff. So rules, on the other hand, because we're looking at the difference between norms and rules, they're prescriptive, right? Rules, think of them as laws. If you don't follow the law, and you could break a rule for a while, like the law, like probably if you drive, you might drive over the speed limit. That's a common thing that people do. But if you really drive like way over the speed limit, I mean, people might drive 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit. It's kind of like an expected, it's almost like a norm thing to do. And at least in California, I don't know about other states, it's like a norm. So to be, if you're supposed to go 70, to go 75, 80. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but that's kind of what people do on the freeway, is you follow with the flow of traffic. And when someone's not doing that, let's say they're going 60, we think they're not following like what the norm is. But that may be the norm, but the rule is you're not supposed to go above the speed limit. So the law says that. That means a police officer has the ability to give you a ticket, right? So usually rules, think rules, laws, rules, they're prescriptive, means they've been stated, set down, everyone knows how you're supposed to behave. If you don't behave that, think about plagiarism at the school. It's set down, it's written. If you plagiarize, you know that if you're caught plagiarizing, you could get kicked out of school. End of story. We don't ask why you did it. We don't care what your reasons are. That's it. Boom, you're out. And plagiarism carries a heavy and hefty punishment, because oftentimes it means you won't be able to get back into the school, and it's a big deal. So rules, there's a form of punishment or penalty that occurs if you don't follow the rules. Norms, not so much. You get kind of maybe socially shushed or ostracized for a moment or criticized, but it's not the same. So I hope that makes sense for you. You're going to want to figure that out for your group, and I will see you later at another time in class. I look forward to seeing you. You have a wonderful day, and be safe out there. Take care. Bye.